Howdy, everybody. Today I'm going to talk to you about a little special experience that I've got to have. I myself got to run a race, and I ran it after training with my kiddos. And that's something that I always do. You know, a lot of distance coaches are going to be running with their kids, but I was running with my athletes this winter. I was training with them. Every effort they were doing, I was doing. Now, is it absolutely perfect and I was doing every single effort and every little thing they were doing? No, I missed a couple because I needed to coach because first, I'm a coach. Second, I'm trying to train for a pretty special event that we have at the Simplot Games. The Simplot Games is a international track meet that happens every year in Pocatello, Idaho at the Idaho State University. And this year we had some Australians that were there. And when I was in high school, it was a huge meet. We would have big clubs, not just from California like we still do, but we'd have some from New York. We'd have some from Japan, Australia, New Zealand, Canada. It was this huge affair. And so, you know, I'm in love with this meet. So I love it. And I wanted to continue that love by doing the Coach's Mile. So I trained up and I did my best. And so something with the way that my program is, as I've kind of already said, is I run with the kiddos. Most distance coaches do. Some coaches say that they are right there with their kids. I was trying to do every single effort that my kids were doing so that I could be more prepared for the pain that is a track race, not a marathon, but an actual mile, where you feel the fatigue in your legs, in your lungs, and just absolutely everything. But this is a good story about why it's better to lead from the line than just leading from the sidelines, because there's just something different about it. It's easy to coach from the sidelines because it's comfortable. It's easy to give instructions. It's easy to talk about toughness. It's different when you step into the race yourself, like I was trying to do. And that's when the message that I'm giving gets tested. So our team went to Simplot, the 3-day meet. It's huge atmosphere, wooden track, high intensity, pressure everywhere. I had been training to run the Coach's Mile, not just casually, but I wanted to have a true intent, purposeful. And I wanted to not just break 5, but I wanted to get well under it. I wanted to feel like I actually was putting some work in and running fast. Things don't always go as well as you plan them. And when I'm doing strides the day before, my quad just absolutely cramped. It tightened. And when it first happened, obviously there's that initial fear of like, oh gosh, oh crap. But I was mad. And I spent, mad trying to like stretch it, rub it out real quick. But of course it's not working as well as I know, like, okay, you can't really do this if it's a strain, if there's a tear, which at the moment I didn't know what it was. All I know is that it was a cramp, and I was hoping that was the worst it was. As we got kind of moving, I kind of had a bit of sadness, and I was pretty embarrassed because this was not the right timing for this. My opportunity that I'd been training for, that my kids, my athletes, and the other coaches have seen me working towards, was slipping out of my hands. I was in the weight room doing the squats, doing the cleans, lifting exactly like my kids were lifting. And so my coaches, they were excited to see me run too, because they were getting a chance to see, okay, we know Sean was doing all this stuff to get prepped for this. So this is exciting. This isn't just for him, it's for us, and it's for the kids. So even with this cramp or the strain, I knew that I still needed to run warm-ups and cool-downs with my athletes for the rest of Friday, as well as I had a couple that I needed to do on Saturday because they were the only kid in that event, and I didn't want them going by themselves. I didn't want them feeling alone. So I needed to do it because I want them to feel safe, supported, and protected. I wasn't going to just disappear just because I was embarrassed and I just wanted to focus on the one thing, which was always the plan. I was never going to abandon the kiddos because of that. But now it was putting my own race more at risk, because it wasn't just like, okay, let's just try to try to muster just one thing. So the morning of the race, after I start warming up, I can feel my quad. It's hurting. It's getting some sharp pain. And usually when there's sharp pain, that's when I tell my athletes like, oh, that's kind of when we need to be a little bit more careful. This isn't just like go and do it. We got to be careful. And so I go to the head coach for indoor track and field. He was my coach, and he's a strong guy. He grew up in a small town, but he went and played Division I football. So he is knowledgeable, wise. I went to him and I was looking for essentially permission not to run. I wanted someone else to make the call. And I asked him the question, and he has this certain smile where it kind of starts like a little pointed smile, and then it gets big, and he just answers, "You would know better than me. Only you can make that call." And that was really hard to hear because he's right. The responsibility is mine. I'm smart enough, I'm experienced enough to know what I needed to do. And that wasn't the only time I went to him. I went to him twice, essentially begging him, without begging him, "Take me out of the game, coach. I don't want to do this. I don't think I can do it." I'm even thinking to myself, because I know me not running is the wrong call because of how I feel and what I know is actually going on with my body. So I'm asking him, like, what would actually be the best message to the kiddos? Like, do I start it? Do I warm up and then just go like, "Oh, I can't do it. I'm going to get hurt if it's worse." Just can't make the call until finally I'm on the track, and they have it set up where you got the wooden 200-meter track, and then right beside it you have the 60-meter track that while we're watching the other heats go on when you're doing distance races, we can do strides as we're warming up. And I cannot get going. I try to accelerate and my quad just tightens and gets that sharp pain. And I still had some girls that were still kind of down there that I could step off and talk to them. And they want to see me race too. They're going to be like, "Oh, coach, you can do this. You can do this." While I'm doing this, all I can think of is all the times that I've talked to them, telling them like they need to just do it. Just give themselves a chance. If you don't give yourself a chance, you're never going to know. And once you get this race started, that adrenaline's going to kick in. In fact, one of them even told me that. "Coach, once the race starts, the adrenaline's going to kick in and you're not even going to feel it." She was right, by the way. Darn was she right. But it wasn't easy. Finally, I had to step on the line, and I couldn't quit. Because that's how I'm wired, and that's, really how I teach my kiddos. You just have to get yourself to the line and let the emotions get you through the race. And hopefully we've trained well enough and we've trained smart enough that the emotion is a positive one. That's what I taught them. That's what I had to exemplify in that moment. My athletes were still nearby after these races and close enough to talk. And as much as I doubted myself, they were right. So the race came, I ran. It was not a perfect race. It was not pain-free. And of course, obviously I missed my time, but really not by much. But because I actually put myself out there, I didn't miss a great moment. Even as I'm running the race, I get halfway through and I know at the halfway mark, I'm trying to tell myself, "Don't grab your quad. Stop touching it. Stop touching it. Just focus on running and get it done." And when I finish, my emotions finally released and I felt my quad just immediately cramp up. So as soon as I step off that wooden track, I go down. My quad just cramps right back up. I fall flat on my face. and two of the workers, the volunteers, the officials, they come up and they're like, "Oh, are you okay?" Like, "Oh, we gotta get you up." I'm like, "Oh, it's just a cramp. It's just a cramp. Just let me roll over and I'll get right up." They're like, "Oh, you sure?" Nope. I got." No, the one walks in and is just like, "Nope, I got you. You're safe. You're fine. We'll get them moved out." But like, I'm also embarrassed because I just step off a track and fall down. That's not very macho. That's not very cool. I can't do that. I get up and I kind of hobble over to the table that has the water and I get my water. All the racers are then finished. So it's time to start going. It was a great moment that I got to be an example for my other athletes, that they got to see that. And another coach actually, even as soon as I finished, turned around and looked at our men's team because they're really working on, pushing through the pain cave. And just tell them that was not soft. That was tough. I'm now happy. I got to finish this race, even though I didn't run as fast as I wanted to. I did it, and I ran through the pain, and I showed, even though I was frustrated and I had a lot of doubt, I made the decision, and I committed to it. I didn't lead from the sidelines that day. I got to lead from the line, and not only do I get another story to work with my kids about, but my current group of kiddos, they get to share this story of just like, "Hey, Coach Wilde did it. You can too. He's old." I'm going to remember this race, and I'm not going to remember it because I didn't make the time or I was in a lot of pain, but because my athletes got to watch me live what I asked them to do. And one day they're going to be in their own moment of doubt, and hopefully they're going to remember that I did it just like they did, and I know exactly how it feels and what I'm asking of them. So if you lead in any space, I want you to understand this. Your words matter and your participation matters the most. You got to lead from the front. Sometimes leadership means stepping into that discomfort, just like we're asking those that we lead. We can't do it recklessly and we can't do it blindly. We got to have it be intentional, purposeful, because when people see that you are also carrying the weight, they learn how to carry their own, and they're willing to help you carry yours. And that's how we're going to lead from the line so that we can run free, run fierce, and run wild.